What a beautiful day to work on some solar power. Beautiful winter day, nice and sunny, and we're gonna start off by cutting a piece of metal. Now, I couldn't find a piece of wood that was 7 meters long, so we have to use a couple, and we'll put them together. I think we're gonna use some metal though to really make it a solid connection. Guys, with the solar, I was excited about it, really excited about it coming into it, but then, man, oh man, partly you're paralyzed because you don't exactly know. I've never done it before, so you're like, I don't want to get anything wrong. And then it was a bit rainy, and then all my shoes are wet, and I'm like, So finally, beautiful day. I got no excuses. I got to get out here. Let's build this thing, and it's going to be fun. I'll try to put it on some time lapse, maybe. All right, one of 6 panels. I got a supporting board on the back. Now we're going to measure the angle, and again, we want to go down to almost 20, 25 in the summer, and all the way up to 80. So we'll have to lift this up a little bit. We're going to keep that constant, and then we're going to have another piece that goes on the back and attaches when it goes really high. But this one's going to be constant, so we need to see how high we have to lift that up to get to 20, 25. They're looking pretty big, aren't they? That's 2 of them, six total. Now this is about 64 degrees, so this is actually a really good winter angle right now. I'm quite pleased with the way it's coming. They'll sit lower in the summer, but yeah, here we go. Okay, this is the summer angle. This is closer to 20 degrees. So quite flat when the sun's really high in the sky, not this time of year, but it's gonna work. I think I might paint the wood out brown, make it a little prettier. Now, I expect most guys that do a lot of projects know this already, but you always get the parts you think you need, and then you get there and something's just a little bit wrong. The washer's just a wee bit too big. It won't quite sit in there. So gonna go back to the chateau and see if I can find one that's better suited. Again, what slows things down with this kind of job, with this kind of location, is when you have to go to your tool area. It's like a 5-minute walk, or at least, it kind of slows everything down. But it's a nice walk. Looks nice. Well, continued progress. I haven't done time lapse. Sorry about that. It's just, it feels like it'd be too boring. We've made progress. We got the bottom rail pretty much done. Remember, the bottom rail is on hinges so that we can lift up the back, and the whole bottom board is on hinge, so that'll work really well. I think this is how the poles are going to work. Is it's the lowest. This is the lowest position. I'm going to have to double. We've got the boards that are going to go across, and then I'm going to have to double that because it's just not quite strong enough. It's sagging a little bit in the middle. You can see on the top right there if you look really close. So that's not cool. We don't want it sag, so we're going to put a whole another board under it. And then what's going to happen is there's going to be arms that we're going to come down and are going to bolt into this for when it's tipped up higher. So there'll be a system. It'll make sense as you see it, but the rails are there pretty much, almost done that. Now I just got to bring some more panels out and put them on. And then there were 3. It's going on great. I just got a call that the van is ready. So it's getting serviced today, in for an oil change. So I got to go pick that thing up, and then we'll come back, see if we can get them all on.
Well, we're slowly getting all of our linens and stuff washed, and now I'm going to start taking them all to all the bedrooms, and I would like to have all the bedrooms done today, finally. And then next week we have our linens coming back, all our beds, sheets and things like that. So for today, goal is this morning, let's get all the bedrooms put away. Although this room needs painted, it is one of my favorites. Has a really nice view out the front, and of course hopefully you can see between the steaminess, but and then you see this great view of the side of the front of the house, which is very cool. So I've started putting all the linens as they get clean into each individual bedroom. I used to put it in a big armoire, like these fitted ones, these fitted storage pieces in the hall over by the Japanese room. I'll put away. And then I thought, you know what, at home, back when I had another kind of house, like a normal suburban house, I would always put each room's linens or in each respective area. Not for the kids maybe, but our linens, and then the guest room linens I'd for sure put downstairs or wherever our guest room was at that point. And that way linens are always kept separate. We always know what to work on what bed. So I don't know if you do that, but I found that to be super helpful. And so I'm starting to do that again in each areas because it just makes it easier when it's time to set up all the rooms again.
owning, you know, every country is different and has its different things. I noticed very quickly that owning a vehicle is different in Europe. For example, the car says that it was ready for its first oil change at 40,000 kilometers, its first servicing, which is crazy to me. That's a lot. That's like 24,000 miles. And then, of course, when you look at the cost, then you start to see why it's 300. It was more than 300 for all these different things. Now, mostly it's like washer fluid and oil change. The oil, look at that, the oil, 162 euro for oil. So different than the US. US pull in for 20 bucks. Well, it used to be 20, maybe 25, 30. Some places probably more, but significantly more here. But honestly, you know what? New vehicle, I wanted to protect it, and for the first one, I thought let's take it into the professionals and the dealer, and they'll know what to do, and then maybe eventually I'll learn how to do some of this. But for now, this is good.
Rob was out in town today and stopped at the bakery and asked if I wanted anything, and I have been in the mood for a croissant. And they are usually brought here every day for the students, but I don't usually have time to have one. So now's my moment to have some nice jam and a beautiful, look how beautiful. Isn't it lovely? Our amazing baker in Beaugé is incredible, Maison Bernard, and she's amazing. And then you have to see this. If you haven't been to France before, when you buy something from the bakery, they do this incredible little wrap job, which they just kind of whip together, and then it just sort of pops apart, which I don't think I can do with my one hand without wrecking what's in it, but I'll show you what's inside. All right, do you want to see the unveiling? I figured this is what it was. It is our favorite thing at Maison Bernard, and it is a tarte au citron, a lemon tart. It is divine. If you ever come here, especially, I've had them in several bakeries. By far, hers is the best. It's just amazing, and it's our favorite thing to eat for a dessert.
Making progress. 4 up, 2 to go. Man, I hope I cut that right. I've got a bad feeling that I cut it a little short, but we will see. So you get better as you go. It's definitely going faster. So notice I have a little piece of wood there at the bottom, and the idea is when I come in, since I didn't want to bother every time Leslie had to do it, I didn't want to call Leslie, so I can just carry one over pretty heavy and drop it down on the boards, and then once I get it on the board I can slide it down to that, and the wood holds it temporarily while we put the clips in. So it's going well. Now, by the way, another benefit, I was talking to Jeremy, who's our electrician, and he was saying that he had a friend that had 20 solar panels stolen. The guy just came on the yard, took all 20. And so I was sitting there thinking, like, man, if somebody wanted to steal these, I mean, these are worth $1,500. You know how it's been like a solid day trying to get these on. I'm thinking, and they are heavy. Like, if you had a couple guys, but you would not, like, first of all, you'd need the gates all to be open, because you're not going to carry that over a gate, that's for sure, or over a long distance. And then you're going to have to back it up. And then the beautiful thing about like the home install, you know, like if you have a kit, probably all the mounts are, you know, wing nuts, or they're like, you know, they got little knobs on them so they turn really good, and you know, they're all pretty basic, they're all the same. This thing is like a Frankenstein, right? I got all kinds of different screw heads in there. I got some pieces, I got bolts in there. You'd have to bring like your whole toolkit, and it would need to be bright enough to figure out. And then it's even better, like there's some parts that you can only get to it if you take one thing off first, and then you got to take the other thing off first, and then like there's a metal bracket covering the bolt, so you couldn't get it out. It would actually be excellent video watching someone try to steal it. I think I'd be extremely frustrated. So I'm not super worried. I'm not super worried, to be honest. You know, that brings me to a myth. You know, one of the myths that always makes me laugh is the myth of the super villain. Like, you know, you have all those movies where you have the incredibly smart bad guy who's like managed to amass enough, you know, resources to go to the moon and all this stuff. You see, that will never happen in real life, because if a guy was that smart that they could acquire all that stuff, they would find a way to do it legally. It would be ridiculous to try to gain all those assets and have them in a way that could get you in jail. I mean, it's just, that would, if you're smart, you'll find a way to do that without going to jail. So The truth is, my belief is most criminals are not that bright. They're just not that bright. If they were, you know, they're maybe they lack discipline. They need something. You know, they're gonna go break something. They don't care, obviously, and so they're gonna go steal from you. But if you have some kind of, I don't know, I just don't think they're that clever. Again, okay, so if you're gonna come steal these solar panels, you better bring your toolkit, because I have some very unusual screw heads in here, like screw heads that I've barely ever seen. And so you better bring the whole kit. And then I'm thinking, my second thought is, if a dude has a whole good toolkit, he's probably not a thief, because he's probably a working man. He probably, you know, makes an honest living. And that's kind of another support of my belief that the supervillain is a myth.
So this is the storage that I was talking about, and you can see inside that there's a whole bunch of shelves and things like that. And in, you know, these little great, actually, zippered fabric containers is where I would put all the labeled like twin duvet covers and sheets and all that kind of stuff. But I've started, as I told you, putting them in different rooms, and that's just actually really helped a lot. Plus it gives me a little extra storage in here. So up here is where I have off-season flat sheets. I inherited them. They're amazing. Actually, quality of cotton is fantastic, but they're flat sheets. And it's funny how the next bunch of folks coming up didn't really grow up with using flat sheets. Our kids did. On, you know, as a top, but now we use duvet covers over here because it's kind of the European thing to do, to just have a bottom sheet and a duvet cover. So I kind of adopt that. Not only is it one less sheet to wash, but it's also just another way of living, and it's good for them to experience that. But also it just doesn't work as a bottom sheet anymore. Like, we're so used to fitted sheets. I just don't think over, you know, several weeks of living here, the students would be able to figure out how to keep a flat sheet on the bottom of their bed. So for now, I use them to cover all the beds up during off season, and they work great. And it's I'm not getting rid of them because they're amazing. So it looks kind of crazy having everything all covered up like this. I usually leave the base duvet and pillow in there because, again, storage. But for those of you who actually followed us from the beginning, when I first found these sheets in the cupboard, I loved that it had its great little tag sewn right into it. I'm not sure why they spelled it that way exactly, phonetically rather than in French, but I loved that they were labeled. And whoever maybe knows or remembers who used to run this house as the I don't know, Airbnb or hotel or whatever it was, we'd love to figure that out, because I would just love to thank them for the things that they put in here, because anything I've inherited from them has been great. And there's been a few things.
I mean, it's official. We're not going to get a lot of solar power by this point in the evening in December. But again, it's December, you know, it's the lowest, or whatever, January, December, lowest producing months. So I guess December's probably the lowest. By this time of night, we're pretty much in the shadows. Yeah, it's coming, eh? It's looking good. We'll probably paint that wood black just to make it look a little more attractive. And again, one more to go here. And we'll put some, we're gonna support some of these beams a little better too. So it's gonna look good. And adjustable height. Ooh. Well, there should be 6 of them. Again, I got some work to do on the left there since I screwed it up, but we'll paint some stuff black. It's gonna look awesome though. Before we go, let me just show you briefly how we're gonna hook this up. How simple it is, by the way. Man, talk about sponsorship. We should get sponsored by a solar panel. This is such like 1,500 euros, guys. And there'll be a couple $100s in other outlets and wires and stuff like that. And then probably some installation costs too. But you know, honestly, a couple $1,000s, it's not bad. Okay, I got this on the 0.5. Let's open up. Here's the power. Here's our power. Now, what is so great about this situation is that this thing is wired again for a big amusement park. So look at that huge wire that all goes to the restaurant over there. So those big wires come in from our transformer, and everything comes to here. And then some things go to like the front gate and over to that one right there is the chateau, that orange one. And then these ones all go to different little places. And then that big, huge one goes to the restaurant. So the restaurant's turned off right now. We don't need anything there. So all we have to do, all we're gonna do, I mean, you can technically just hook these up into a plug, but to do it correctly, what we're gonna do is we're gonna line up a bunch. Jeremy's gonna line up a bunch of fuses here, including a lightning protector. I think that's like $150. But essentially, if this thing gets hit by lightning, then it doesn't fry your whole house. It just stops it. So he's gonna do that, and essentially he's just gonna put plugs in over here on the edge, and then we're just gonna plug them right in. And we asked him, since he's already here, it's easy just to double it up in case we want to double or triple this up someday. And so he's gonna put in 6 plugs, 3 double plugs, and so 2 circuits, and apparently one circuit will do 5. I think so. Essentially, we could have 9,000 kilowatts down the road if we choose to, and if we get the permit. So very exciting, and can't wait to see that power coming in.
So you might be asking, why exactly am I putting sheets on the beds and covering everything up? Well, the movies are right. You know how when you watch the period movies and the rich people leave their big palace and all the servants take all the sheets and they cover everything, or when they return and they take the big whoosh of the sheet when they're doing that montage of how they unpack the house and they take all the sheets off. Well, it's a real thing. I have found that when we cover things up during the off season, it really does keep things cleaner. The flies don't, burrow into places I don't want them to burrow to stay warm, which is gross, I realize, but it's just a thing that is here. And you kind of have to get used to it. So it's a thing, they're right, and you do it. Last room, Amy Girl's room, one of my favorite, one of the first chandeliers we found, I really love. And then there's this cute fireplace with little sconces and a Trumeau mirror. It's very charming. Anyway, I was noticing how happy I was, of course, that the sun was out because it smelled a little damp in here. And I have a friend who's selling a house in another part of Europe, and someone from North America is interested in buying it. And they were asking for like humidity tests and for all these different things. And, there really is a learning curve for buying old stone houses, which is what theirs is as well. And I remember when we came here and looked, and I touched the wallpaper in here, and it was like the wall was really damp. And I remember asking the realtor, going, what's the deal with that? Like, what in the world? And she's like, that's just how it is. It's just how it is. And I was like, how is that how it is? But she's not wrong. That's just how it is. Old stone houses can be damp.
Looking for that cinematic sunset shot with the solar panels. Yeah, that'd be a thumbnail maybe, eh? Lots of fun. From ground level, they barely register. See if you can see them from the terrace. Let's see. Yeah, you can sort of see them. Yeah, but not a problem, right? Remember, they will be taller in the winter. This is the summer setting, but still very exciting. Some days you're in the mood to work, and some days you're not. And real talk, today I was not in the mood to work, but it was a good day and we got lots done. So I am thankful for that.